Volume 1 Chapter 8 Section 3. Zheng nodded, and before he could speak, Zhai laughed out loud.
Good, your abilities are quite capable. The four of us survived the last movie. I lived through 4 movies and they lived through 1. Though it seems like we miscalculated. We should have exchanged some limited ammo guns, since those are rather inexpensive.
Then Lan explained how they would go back to God's dimension after the mission is finished, and the categories of items. She smiled after saying everything. Looks like she got that 100 points. Xuan adjusted his glasses and asked in confusion,
"But why is he the strongest one?"
He pointed to Zheng. In fact, Zero and Camper were also paying close attention to Zheng, though they were silent this whole time. Zheng laughed.
You get 1000 points every time you survive a movie. That's fixed. Other than that, God will issue you missions. Completing these missions will earn you extra points. Look at the watch, it displays the mission for this movie and the rewards. I finished a mission in the last movie and was awarded extra points. So I'm a bit stronger than them after spending my rewards on enhancements.
Xuan was going to ask more, but the only door in this room opened. Everyone looked towards it, yet there was nothing outside.
The movie is starting.
Zhai immediately took out his Desert Eagle and pointed it at the door. Several minutes passed and there was nothing. Zheng and the rest let out a sigh of relief. Then they saw the 2 middle-aged men walk outside. He was appalled and immediately yelled,
Don't go out carelessly, this is only your first movie. You're much weaker than us and in much more danger than us. Even if someone is to gather information, we should do it instead.
Zero sneered.
You think they are going to gather information?
As he was speaking, the young man and woman pair followed out, then the hooligans sprinted toward the door too. Zheng could hear the middle-aged men say,
Hep. He thinks we don't know. Trying to con us with some staging actors. At least spend more money on the setup. Look at that scrub, if he's an assassin then what am I?
The young man and woman agreed in a low voice. Though the hooligans just ran away without saying anything. In the end, only 4 of the newbies stayed. Xuan, Kanpa, Zero, and the smarter young man. The young man walked over to them cautiously.
Can I join your group? Even though everything is unimaginable, but I still wish to stay by you. Oh right, my name is Li Shrexy. Occupation. Just graduated from college, don't have any occupation yet. But I used to watch a lot of horror movies and stories at home. Oh, and I am familiar with fantasy web novels and various mythologies.
Zheng and Zhai looked at each other, then he held out his hand.
Welcome to this group. Even though we are not guaranteed to live, we won't give up on our comrades.
Zhai put his gun back in his pocket, then asked,
What should we do next? We can't just stay here.
Information.
Lan and Xuan said simultaneously, then they smiled at each other. Xuan waved his hand.
It's better to have you say it. I specialize in analysis. Not as confident in planning out.
Lan touched her forehead.
I was a writer. So I am quite confident at devising plans. If I get anything wrong, please remind me. The 4 of us did a brief analysis before you woke up. To be honest, Alien isn't a difficult movie. Since there's only 1 alien in the whole movie. In comparison, it has a lower difficulty than Resident Evil. Both movies can be explained using science. Yet why is Resident Evil a 7-people difficulty movie while this is 15? We believe that the plot changed so the difficulty is raised accordingly.
Xuan nodded.
Resident Evil 1. If that's the comparison, then the hunters in Resident Evil 1 are on par with aliens, furthermore they are in much larger numbers. Your deduction is sound, the difficulty of Alien shouldn't be higher than Resident Evil. If the plot changed, what do you suggest we do?
Information.
Lan said with certainty.
We need to know how much the plot changed. Why is the difficulty so high? Also, we don't know the real strength of aliens from just watching the movie. We have to fight one to learn his speed, strength, and other variables. Then we can devise a method to kill them.
Seeing that Xuan nodded, Zero and Camper did not object. Zheng also nodded and said,
Then we will go investigate this spacecraft. It would be best if we can meet the cast, and if we encounter an alien, I will fight him head-on. G's Desert Eagle has infinite ammo. If you can, let Zero support me with it. I think I should be able to escape with Chi if something goes wrong.
At the same time, they heard a scream from the other side of the hall. The voice belonged to the two middle-aged men and the young man and woman. The 8 of them ran toward the sound source. Xuan, Zero and Camper's physical fitness was amazing. They kept up in running with the 4 that have gone through enhancement. Only the young man started panting as he ran. Zheng turned around to take a look, then sighed and ran over to take a hold of his hand. Even then he was still exhausted. The scream came from a lobby. The middle-aged men and the other 2 were on the ground screaming in terror. Following where their fingers pointed, 3 corpses lied on the ground. The bodies belonged to a blonde woman, a black man, and a Caucasian. Their faces were twisted as if they experienced intense pain before death. As Zheng's group entered the lobby, the 4 ran to the hall on the other side. Zheng sighed and didn't bother to chase them. He knelt down next to the bodies. After a few looks, his face turned pale.
How many aliens were in the movie?
Xuan said with certainty.
1. My memory won't be wrong in such a detail.
Zheng stood up with a pale face. The 3 corpses under him all had a hole on their chest. This meant that a stage 2 alien came out through their chests. Furthermore, one of the bodies had a hole that covered the chest and abdomen, like an alien several times bigger than average came out of it. An alien that size was terrifying just from imagining it.
We are going to phase 3. Perhaps more, and bigger, aliens soon.